What's going on, everybody? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports as we are live breaking down the latest news and rumors around your favorite football team. And we're going to start off today's show with some bad injury news for your Minnesota Vikings as the injury report came out today, and there are about 100 DNPs for the Thursday practice. So we'll break that down on today's show. But speaking about this game, Week 5, taking on the Cleveland Browns in London. If you guys want the Vikes to beat the Browns, just hit me with a skull down below in the comments section. We'll give you guys some shout-outs. Big O Beast in the building. Reed Southern in the house. What's going on, Reed? Unfortunately, bored, saying, hey, y'all. Hey to you, unfortunately. Cole Saunders saying, skull. Marcos, man, saying, what's up, Patrick? Kind, Wild Recovery saying, skull. Connor saying, skull. Carrie in the building. Carter, Reed Southern. As Adriano saying, as a diehard Vikings fans, this is going to happen. We're going to have ups and downs, but I trust this team and organization. This is so far from over, and I have a feeling we'll be back better than ever. So, Adriano, thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of Vikings fans are saying the season's completely over. I have two interesting kind of historical stats, facts, whatever you want to call them, about the Minnesota Vikings. So, the last time the Vikings made the NFC Championship game, back in 2017, the Vikings were 2-2 as well. You may be saying that's nothing. Well, Week 5 of that season back in 2017, who did the Vikings play? They played the Cleveland Browns. Where did the Vikings play the Cleveland Browns? In London. So you got that going for you. And then also this. Every single year, the Vikings have played the Ravens. Either or has happened. If they have beaten the Ravens that season, they have made the NFC title game. But if they have lost to the Ravens that year, Kevin O'Connell, or the head coach for the Vikings, has gotten fired. So off those two statistics, I'm hearing the Vikings will go to the NFC Championship. Obviously kind of joking there, but it is pretty interesting that back in 2017, we were 2-2 heading into that game against the Cleveland Browns in London. Very similar situation. And then that Ravens stat is wild. Either you make the NFC title game or you end up firing your head coach. So that Ravens game is going to be massive for multiple reasons. But I thought that was some interesting stats around the Vikings history. But I do want you guys to show some love to Justin Jefferson here down below in the comment section. This guy was he was just talking to the media today, and he is such a team-first player when, in reality, he has every reason not to be team-first right now. Like, this guy is absolutely fantastic. Just the way he handles himself, obviously on the football field, I think he is one of the most talented receivers we have ever seen, but it's also off the field, which I think makes him, from a great player to like a legendary, like franchise icon, which he is for the Vikings. Like, this guy, he's asked about the quarterback position every single day. His answers are fantastic. He was supporting J.J. McCarthy, and just I think sometimes we take Justin Jefferson for granted. Like, this guy is just a perfect wide receiver. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with him. He's a perfect on-the-field wide receiver, and then he's also a perfect off-the-field wide receiver. Like, we're already seeing Jamar Chase with Jake Browning in there in Cincinnati. He's losing his mind. He's already showing up Zach Taylor on the sidelines. He's giving cryptic quotes after the game, telling T. Higgins, if you want the ball, go demand the ball more from the offensive coordinator. So I think just sometimes we will take Justin Jefferson for granted. We're watching an all-time great every single time he steps out there on the football field. So thank you, number 18, for just being who you are. But we are going to be diving into a mailbag here in about 30, 40 minutes or so, as Penguin Zero saying AT is going to carry this team this week, every single week. Every single week. He is one of the best in the league. The best in the league at his respective position. Just so thrilled that Jefferson's a Minnesota Viking. So if you guys got a question for me, though, we're going to be getting into a mailbag here in about 35, 40 minutes. So just use hashtag Vikings down below in the live chat, or if you guys want to support the show here, super chat, dollar icon below. But get those questions in there. Hashtag Vikings. Tony, Adriano, Jay, unfortunately bored. If any of you guys have a question, just drop one in the live chat and just put hashtag Vikings. It helps our software pull your profile pic, question, the whole nine up on screen next to me. But coming up, the Vikings, the injury bug. It strikes again, and this Thursday injury report is absolutely hilarious. So we'll dive into that. Then also, I do want to talk about the Vikings-Browns game as why this is just a typical trap game for the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to get a little negative here on the second segment, but then we will have a mailbag. So like I said, use hashtag Vikings down below. Get those questions in there if you guys haven't already. I want to see a couple of questions fly in. That would be fantastic. But if you guys are ready to rock and roll, talk about the latest injury news, talk about the Browns game, and just talk some Vikings football, hit that thumbs up icon. We're at 15 likes right now. If we could get to 20 likes, we'll start today's show. So just need 5 more of you guys to hit that thumbs up icon. Is Nevada Maverick saying Gabriel is sneaky fast? How does Flores contain him? It's so funny. Like, Flores, his biggest drama in the NFL was going against Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, they had a fractured relationship, and now he is going up against Dylan Gabriel in his first career start, where he is a literal Tua clone. Obviously, not as good as Tua, wasn't as good of a prospect, but in terms of just archetypes of quarterbacks, lefty, smaller QB, very accurate on short, intermediate routes, gets the ball out quick. That is Tua. So I think that's a little interesting, but yeah, I mean, still, the Vikings defense should have a hell of a day. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Brozama, been swagging, my guy, getting a question in there. Brozama, that Jordan Addison football should be heading your way shortly. I think we got it shipped out a couple of days ago, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, Kaprizov signing his deal with the Minnesota Wild, Big O Beast. That was big-time news. It was getting reported, I believe, that he turned down a record extension, and now he ends up signing it. So good for the Wild fans out there. But, hey, if you guys are ready to rock and roll, dive on into it. Also, we have some cool quotes from Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, so stay tuned for that. But if you guys are ready to go, just give me a skull down below in the comments section, and let's do this thing. What's going on, Vikings fans? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, the good old injury bug. It strikes again for our Minnesota Vikings, and the Thursday injury report is out, and there's about 100 DNPs on there. So we'll discuss that on the first half of today's show. Then Adam Thielen as well as Justin Jefferson. We're talking about J.J. McCarthy and how they expect him to bounce back. So we'll share with you guys those quotes. They're actually pretty awesome, so stay tuned for the second half of today's show. But before we do it, we're not asking you guys to hit the subscribe button. We're not asking you to comment. We're not asking you to like the video. We're actually trying to get the most hype points we can on today's show. So this is a new feature on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it only works if you're on your phone, but you can send video hype points. So if you guys want to help me out, and if you guys are hyped for Week 5, smash the hype button. You should just have to scroll to the right of the comments. If you guys just click hype, send your points in, trying to get this video out to more and more Vikings fans. So if you guys could, hype today's show. But let's check out the injury report here. It's a doozy. A whole lot of DNPs on Thursday. So Tyler Batty, he practiced in full, which is good news. Christian Darrisaw, back-to-back DNPs. Now, there's no need to be concerned. They said this is just obviously, this was part of the plan with him coming back from the torn ACL. But Donovan Jackson, still dealing with that wrist. Michael Jurgens dealing with the hammy, so he did not participate. Ryan Kelly, DNP. JJ, DNP. Brian O'Neill, DNP. But the one that is probably the second most concerning here, Dallas Turner wasn't on the injury report Wednesday, popped up on Thursday with a DNP with an illness. So obviously that's not good because you're already going to be without Andrew Van Ginkel this week. You're already pretty thin at the edge rusher position with that injury. And if he's dealing with an illness, hopefully he'll be able to get right over the next couple of days. But what if he's got food poisoning or something? What if he ate some bad food in London? Obviously not good there. So that's going to be interesting to see how the Vikings play that out. But maybe it is a Tyler Batty or a Gabe Murphy legacy game here this Sunday. But we'll keep you guys updated with Turner and this illness. But Michael Jurgens not practicing again. So who the hell is going to play center for the Vikings? It's a massive question. Well, Alec Lewis tweeting out the following offensive linemen were taking center snaps: Blake Brandel, Joe Huber, Henry Bird, and Rashawn Lee. So my best guess at what the Vikings Week 5 offensive line will look like is probably this. Now, I am going to assume Blake Brandel will play center. It will be his first time ever in his life playing center, even dating back to college, preseason, NFL regular season. He has never taken a snap at the center spot. And then you got Joe Huber at left guard. That's an okay, fill-in. He looked good in the preseason, but he's a UDFA. Then you got Justin School, our good old friend, one of the worst tackles in the league, starting this week against Myles Garrett. This offensive line is horrible for this week. And I apologize to the non-Vikings and Browns fans that are about to tune in for this game in London. A bunch of NFL fans are going to be waking up, and they're going to go see this 13-10 game that the Vikings and Browns are about to put on. So I apologize to all the non-Vikings Browns fans that have to watch this football team play this weekend. It's going to be some ugly football, and the Vikings defense is definitely going to need to show up. But, the over-under for this game, Kevin Seifert tweeting this out, saying the current over-under for the Vikings-Browns game is 35.5. That is the lowest for an NFL game this season and the lowest ever for an international game. This game's going to be horrible. It's going to be a rock fight. It's going to be a slugfest. Whatever buzzword you want to use to describe an ugly football game, we are going to get that this weekend. You got a rookie quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, taking on Carson Wentz. You got two good defenses. This game is going to get ugly. It is going to get ugly, and I will say maybe I'm just a football sicko, but I'm kind of excited for it. Like to see Dillon Gabriel, Carson Wentz in an absolute slugfest across the pond in London. Who has it better than us? But hey, if you guys want the Vikings to beat the Browns this weekend, get back above 500, fall to 3-2 in the win-loss column. Just hit me with the skull down below in the comments section. Hey, make it look like US Bank Stadium. Vikes need a win this weekend. Must-win situation, I will say. You fall to 2-3, the season's all but over. But hey, if you guys could, give me a skull down below. Now we'll dive into what Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson had to say about J.J. McCarthy here in a second. But before we do so, today's episode is brought to you guys by Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks is super simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on at least two player stats, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. Now, Prize Picks, they're offering a sweet deal for you guys. If you guys download the app and plug in promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, they have a new feature on the app, and they're offering stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. And you can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in just one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity, or someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today, plug in promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. A shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, so veteran wide receiver, Minnesota legend Adam Thielen was talking about J.J. McCarthy as well as Justin Jefferson. Obviously, J.J. got a lot going on right now, rehabbing from that high ankle sprain. But Thielen gave some good insight on how J.J.'s handling it. This is what he said. He says he's built for that. I say that because of his attitude, his mindset. He has that it factor. That's what made me excited to come back here. Guys like him, as you saw in that Bears game, he's gonna find a way. And that's kind of my message to Vikings fans is if you're panicking about J.J. McCarthy, if you're not thrilled about how the start of the season has gone, just be patient. J.J. will find a way. This guy is still the youngest starting quarterback in the National Football League. If you're already, making your hot takes or you're making your stance that J.J.'s a bust after 8 quarters, that's fine. I just think you're going to be proven wrong. And Vikings fans crack me the hell up sometimes because people act like this organization, like we're like the New Orleans Saints. Like we're like the Carolina Panthers, and we're just ripping off 4-13, 5-12 seasons over and over again. And Vikings fans for the last 5 to 10 years, honestly, Vikings fans since 2009 have been telling me, we got to get a young quarterback. We got to get this guy in the building. We got to really get our own franchise guy that we drafted him and we developed him. But everybody wants to watch a young quarterback develop until it is actually time to watch a young quarterback develop. And that's been the problem with Vikings fans right now. Like, we all want just like, I don't know if it's just being in a microwave society right now where we all just want everything instantly, but we got to be patient. The guy's 22. Think about everything he's already had to overcome so far to start his NFL career. On the road, playing his hometown against the Bears week 1, no Christian Darrisaw, no Jordan Addison, team's banged up. This guy was struggling throughout the first 3 quarters, but then he put on that Superman cape in that 4th quarter. And I understand, he's only played 1 good quarter of football throughout 8. But during that 1 quarter, he showed the flashes. He showed the potential where this guy went and hung 21 points, 3 straight touchdown drives on the road in his first ever start. He was doing stuff that nobody ever did in NFL history in his first ever start on the road. So just be patient. Everybody was telling me, you want that young franchise quarterback? Well, now we're going through it. There will be ups and downs. And Justin Jefferson, he was just talking about the quarterback uncertainty. He's had a ton of quarterbacks here during his Vikings tenure, and this is what he had to say. Saying, to be honest, it's been my whole entire career since I've been here. Not really flinching on that type of deal. That's something I can't really control. It really doesn't matter who is out there throwing the ball. I always have confidence in myself and the person throwing the ball that we're going to make something shake. And then he also had this to say on J.J. McCarthy. He said at the end of the day, he's still our guy. He's still the quarterback that we lean on. And it's just all class from 18. Like this dude, sometimes as Vikings fans, we just take this guy for granted. He has every reason and every right to be a diva, pissed off wide receiver this season. Because clearly, the Vikings moved off from a guy who had 35 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards, won 14 games. Jefferson had 1,500 yards last season and 10 touchdowns. Like, he has every right to be cryptic, to even throw a quote out there post-game saying, like, yeah, well, we didn't have this problem last year, or something along those lines. He has not done that. And also, clearly, his team believes in J.J. McCarthy. Like, you're in the thick of it right now, and the fact that Jefferson's saying J.J. is the guy we lean on when he's still rehabbing that high ankle sprain, I think it speaks to number 9, but mainly speaks to the character and the class from Justin Jefferson. And even more reason why Jefferson could potentially be pissed off. Targets, 31 this season. 31 targets in 4 games for Justin Jefferson. That's a joke. That's 21st in the league. And then Jefferson is having a down year. He is having the worst start ever to his NFL career for an NFL season in his career. And he's still 5th in receiving yards. Like, this guy is unbelievable. And, you also talk about how great he is on the field. But what I think makes Justin Jefferson legendary is how he handles himself off the field, and also the fact that all he wants is a ring. Like, if you guys remember, after A.J. Brown won the Super Bowl this past season, people were asking him, like, hey, obviously you weren't as involved as you would like to be being a wide receiver. One, A.J. Brown said, yeah, winning the Super Bowl was nice, but it only lasted a couple of days. And then he says, what really gives me, joy in life is going and demoralizing cornerbacks. I'm sure Jefferson, that gives him a ton of joy, but the true joy Jefferson gets is winning football games and potentially to win a Super Bowl. That's all he cares about, and just the fact that he is still supporting his guy no matter what. We just take him for granted. We are lucky. Like, I feel like we don't deserve this guy right now. He is that special. Shout out to Justin Jefferson. All class from you all the time. So let's show him some love to round out today's show. Type those 18s. Type his jersey number down below in the comments section. Shout out to Jettis Man. Class act. My favorite football player of all time. So type those 18s down below. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Noah Carl in the building saying, go Cubs, Rocky. Go Cubs indeed. If you guys don't know, I'm not a Minnesota Twins fan. This is actually my dad coming in. Rocky saying, go Cubs. He's a big Cubs fan as well. But big-time game here in about an hour and a half. That's why we went live early, for I can get out of here and watch that game tonight. But playoff baseball, I'll tell you what. I had this take this morning. I think this is the first time in a very, very long time that you have an NFL primetime game that will get outshined by another sport. Like, when was the last time? It was like a Thursday night, early season primetime game, but that's not like the main sport viewing experience tonight. It's the playoff baseball. It's Yankees, Red Sox, frankly, at that time. That's going to be absolutely, that's going to be chills. That's going to be cinema. So I can't wait. MLB doing their damn thing. That's why ratings are up. MLB, NFL, by far the 2 best ran leagues. Like, I think the pitch clock for the MLB was the best change any sport has ever made. And you just got a league like the NBA, just no idea what they're doing. No idea. So shout out to MLB. Can't wait. Can't wait. But if you guys got a question for me about the Minnesota Vikings and anything across the NFL, just get a question in there. Hashtag Vikings or super chat to get up on today's show. Lego Fell. Also, the Niners, their whole team's out. Like, it's Mac Jones and Demarcus Robinson going out there for the Niners tonight. So it's going to be an ugly game. Rams are probably going to win like 20-3. It's going to be terrible football. Terrible football. But hey, if you guys got a question for me, get those in there. John Furr in the building saying Roma Dunze is better than Justin Jefferson. You are smoking crack cocaine, my friend, if you think that. Adriano saying, I'm yet to be worried. We still not have seen our team play one snap together. Thank you. Thank you. I should have said that in the freaking show. I will say this. Don't help when we root for the Bulls teams. Yeah, does not help. Does not help. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls. No, but I was going to say this. Like, do we even know who the 2025 Minnesota Vikings are? And we're not going to know that until probably about week 10 or 11, which is also a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing because remember last year, Vikings come out the gates hot. September, we're beating every single team. We dominated the Niners, dominated the Texans, dominated the Packers. 3 of the first 4 weeks, you go overseas, you beat Rodgers and the Jets. Like, this team hit the ground running right away. They were almost peaking too early. And now this year, with everybody panicking, like, the Vikings' peak is so far away. we have no idea how good this team is. Like, I think people are already chalking it up. Like, the Vikings can't even win the division anymore. They can't even make the playoffs. They're just not Super Bowl contenders. Guys, we have been without our starting left tackle for multiple games. We have been without freaking Jordan Addison for the first 3 games. JJ got hurt. Aaron Jones is hurt. The second and third most important player defensively got hurt, and Andrew Van Ginkel and Blake Cashman. Like, everybody's got to be patient here. Everybody's got to be patient. This team still has a lot of juice. We don't even know how good this 2025 Vikings can be. And also now with JJ getting that injury, he's probably going to take some more time to develop. So I almost think this is a good thing where hopefully, it gets a little colder outside and the Vikings start playing some good football. We're healthier. Because listen, the Packers won the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago. Everybody told me that. The Packers won the Super Bowl. They traded for Micah. They're looking fantastic. People were saying the same thing about the Vikings last year. They won the Super Bowl in September. We're trying to win playoff games. That's what everybody told me. I don't care about 14, 13-win seasons anymore. I care about playoff wins. You want playoff wins? You got to peak at the right time. I'm not saying the Vikings will, but they have the potential to do that, and I also can't contradict myself here. I also think potential is the worst word in all of sports. Potential is not real. That is not a real thing, but the Vikings do have that. They do have that potential to peak later on in the season. So, listen. Also, sports. Sports are supposed to be fun for us. You guys kind of get on me a lot for being too positive or optimistic of a Vikings fan. That's just how I choose the fan. Life is too short. I'd rather be positive about this team and support these guys every day, instead of being negative. Vikings are a fun football team still. It's Carson Wentz, Dylan Gabriel, and I can't freaking wait this Sunday. That's just kind of how it is. But let's dive into this Vikings-Browns preview. I'm going to tell you guys why this is a potential trap game for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, get those questions in there, #Vikings, and let's dive on into it. Let's do it. Is this a trap game for the Minnesota Vikings in Week 5 against the Cleveland Browns? We're going to talk about it. Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and like I said, coming up on today's show, we'll be breaking down if this is a potential trap game for the Vikings for many, many reasons. And we can start off with this. I don't love this. People are doing their game preview picks, and only 2 people picked the Cleveland Browns. Now, the over-under in this game is 35.5, and the point spread is 3 points in favor of the Vikings. Normally, when you have that type of game, low over-under, about a field goal favorite on either side. Normally, this is about 50-50, but people are rocking with the Vikes. I'm a little nervous for this game, and I'll explain why here in a second. But if you guys could, hit that subscribe button today. We are in the middle of our Week 5 sub battle against the Browns report, where right now they have a 3-subscriber lead. They've picked up 3 more subs than us this week. I'm trying to beat them. So if you guys are watching this before Sunday, hit that subscribe button. We post videos multiple times a day on your Minnesota Vikings, short-form content, live shows. We do it all here. So hit that subscribe button, help us out, and let's beat the Browns report in our Week 5 sub battle. Why is it a trap game? The injury bug. This is number 1 by far. This has nothing to do with what's going to happen on the field. It's more about who is not on the field for the Minnesota Vikings. And, scripting out this graphic, it hurt. Likely out versus the Browns. You think about how many key players the Vikings are probably going to miss in this Week 5 game. Donovan Jackson, you're starting left guard. Ryan Kelly, you're starting center. You're probably going to be without Michael Jurgens, your backup center. Brian O'Neill, not going to play. Andrew Van Ginkel, not going to play. Blake Cashman, for sure not going to play. Same with Aaron Jones and J.J. McCarthy. And also, Dallas Turner might not even go in this one. So you are missing. Van Ginkel's a top 10 player on this team. Same with Cashman. Same with O'Neill. Donovan Jackson's probably top 20. Aaron Jones probably top 25. You are missing some key cogs in this system. And the Vikings, listen, they are a way better team than the Cleveland Browns. If we were fully healthy in this, let's just say we didn't catch an injury the entire season, and even Addison wasn't suspended, and we got 4 real games of this team fully healthy, getting better every single week, I promise you the Vikings would beat the Browns by freaking 25 points this weekend. But the injuries might be too much to overcome. But also, I say all that, it is still no excuse. You could have the whole starting 11 on each side of the football out. You can't lose to the Cleveland Browns and Dylan Gabriel. Brian Flores, by the way, you got to be licking your chops. You're playing a guy like Dylan Gabriel, very similar quarterback to Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, he had that beef with Tua. I don't know if this is a little Michael Jordan extra motivation for Flores this week, but I'll tell you what, the Browns can't score more than 20 points this week, or else the Vikings probably don't have a good chance of winning. So the injury bug, you got to overcome it. There's a lot of injuries, but still at the end of the day, I don't think there's an excuse to win this game against the Cleveland Browns. And speaking about the Browns, a little on the field here. Physicality. The Browns are a physical football team. And that has been the archetype of football team that has gave Kevin O'Connell a lot of fits in the past. Like you think about the Lions. They've owned the Vikings. Lions are one of the most physical teams in the league. The Rams, a very, very physical team, have given the Vikings fits over the years. And the Browns, their defensive line, they're going to try to come in this game and kick the shit out of you. Myles Garrett, best defensive player in the world by far. One of the best defensive players I've ever seen, frankly. Malik Collins, stud. The most underrated defensive tackle in the NFL. Mason Graham, this dude looks like a beast. He is one of the best run-stopping D tackles only in his 5th game in the NFL. He's great at two-gapping. A guy like Alex Wright, pretty underrated. But that defensive line, they're ferocious. They're going to try to get after you. And if this is the offensive line the Vikings are rolling out there, it's a tough matchup. Like, it's a huge disadvantage for the Vikings. Like, we can talk about, like, oh, the Vikings organization versus the Browns organization. Like, we're the way better organization. We've got the way better roster top to bottom, way better coaching staff. But this on the field doesn't matter about the logos. It doesn't matter about the coaching staff. This is just bodies on bodies, and the Browns have the huge advantage with their defensive line against the Vikings offensive line. So they're going to have to somehow navigate that. How do you do that? Get the quick pass game, get the run game going. You cannot have these long developing deep routes like Kevin O'Connell's been doing, since he started calling plays for the Vikings. But also another reason why this is a trap game, Browns are getting this new quarterback juice. This is a real thing in the NFL, and it's 2 types of new quarterback juices. One, you just got the natural backup quarterback juice. When the backup quarterback comes in, guys try to rally around him. They want to do it for that guy, kind of like what the Vikings did with Carson Wentz. In week 3, he came in there, team had some juice, played with a lot of energy, but especially with a rookie quarterback making his first start. Because those guys also defensively, Browns defense, one of the better ones in the league. I'm sure they're saying to themselves, like, man, what if Dylan Gabriel's actually kind of good? We could have a good team. Like, we got to go make his life easier. Like, the offensive linemen are saying, man, we got to put Dylan Gabriel in an advantageous spot so he'll have that juice, just like what Jackson Dart did last week against the Chargers. Jackson Dart wasn't fantastic. He didn't put the team on his back, but he gave that offense energy. He gave them the spark they needed, and that whole team rallied around him. Like the Giants' defensive line, there were no-shows for the first couple of weeks. Dart gets in there. They're a little more motivated. They started really getting after Justin Herbert. So that new quarterback juice is a real thing. But again, at the end of the day, it's a rookie quarterback making their first start against Brian Flores. Just that alone on paper should be enough for a win against the Browns. But I ask you guys this, how are we feeling? Let me get the pulse of the fan base here. What's your confidence level in the Vikings beating the Browns? Scale it for me 1 to 100 down below. I'm probably sitting at a 65 right now. Feeling good, but definitely not great. So you guys let me know your confidence level in the Vikings beating the Browns. Now we'll dive into more reasons why this is a trap game here in a second, but I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. And if you guys download the PrizePicks app today, plug in promo code CLNS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, PrizePicks has a new feature called Stacks, meaning you can pick up to the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick them all in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. And they also have another new feature. We can follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in just one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button, check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today, give them a shot, use promo code CLNS, get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is promo code CLNS at PrizePicks to get $50 in lineups after you make your first $5 lineup. But shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, so the new quarterback juice, obviously huge for this team, with the Browns. Big reason why it's a trap game, but also the Vikings are going to have to stop the run this weekend. Like, you already got a rookie quarterback in there. How do the Browns want to make his life easier? It's going to get him a run game, get the play action going. It would just get him easier completions, especially on third downs. Like, if you put Dylan Gabriel in 3rd and long over and over again, it's going to be a long day for him. But if you get him in 3rd and 4s, you get him in 3rd and 3s, He can stay ahead of the sticks. Like, he can slice and dice you. And in the 2 Vikings losses, that have been the reason why they lost. It was week 2. You're giving up 218 yards against the Falcons on the ground, 5.6 yards per carry. You do that this weekend, you will lose this football game. Week 4 against the Steelers. Even if you give up that, like, not a lot of yards total, but still good enough to get you beat. 131 yards on the ground, 4.5 yards per carry, found the end zone 2 times. And also the Browns, they got a dog at running back. Quinshon Judkins is that dude. This dude's going to be one of the more premier running backs in the league for a very, very long time. He's got the juice. He was one of the best running backs in one of the best running back classes we have ever seen in the National Football League. This guy's a stud. If you let him get going, it could be a long day for this defense. And you just got to get Dillon Gabriel in tough spots, which the Vikings can do. Like, there's an answer to this run defense problem. How about the 2 guys you paid big money to? Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen. I know you're pass rush specialist, but hey, why don't you do it in the trenches? Do it by stopping the run. Also, Jonathan Grenard, I saw a quote from him earlier. He was talking about, it doesn't make a difference. Joe Flacco, Dillon Gabriel in at quarterback in terms of, like, getting home to the quarterback. He says, honestly, I'm not even thinking about that. He said he's focused on stopping the run this week. So I like where the mindset is for these guys. But you got to stop the run. And then also, you can't beat yourself. This is a trap game. If you have some bad penalties, that's how you lose these type of games. Where you are the better team, you cannot have the same penalties the Vikings have been committing over the last couple weeks. Second most penalties in the league this season, 9.3 per game. Not good enough. If you have 9+ penalties again this week, there's a good chance you lose. Now, some teams can overcome it, like the Jags and the Packers, but right now, with how beat up the Vikings are, you're not as good as those 2 teams. Like, with all the injuries, like, you can't have just the pre-snap, like, boneheaded penalties. And it's not even like the Vikings are getting a ton of, like, pass interference calls, holding calls, which are more penalties of, one, you trying to do too much or overcompensating for bad play. It's just a lack of just mental focus, I want to call it, these types of penalties. False starts, 8, delay of games, 4, illegal formation, 3, 12 men on the field, 1. These are all controllable penalties. It's just got to be better. And why is it a trap game? Just 2 simple reasons. I gave you 5, but this just screams trap in my mind. Penalties and the injuries. If the Vikings cannot clean up their penalties and you cannot overcome these injuries, you're going to lose this game. Like the Browns, they're a bad team. They have a really good defensive line. They got a couple of nice players in the secondary. They got a good linebacker, but they're still a bad team. A very bad team. You cannot lose this game. You got to beat them. I mean, the Lions just beat them 34-10 last week at home. Obviously, the Lions are way better than the Vikings right now, but the Vikings just win this game 21-10. Dillon Gabriel shouldn't be able to put up more than 15 points against this team. Should not happen. Will it happen? Who the hell knows? But if you guys made it to the end, only real ones make it here. Give me those skulls down below in the comment section if you guys watch this entire thing. But I do appreciate you. We will be live here on the channel about an hour before kickoff this Sunday morning. So make sure you guys tune in then. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes. Alrighty. Dwayne, what's going on? Harvey Buxton saying we are the opposite to the Chiefs. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Appreciate you guys, though, for tuning in today. Unfortunately, Board in the building. Dwayne in the house as well. Adam D in the building. Jay saying no trap game. Hopefully it's not. Drew Jaspers saying skills, baby. Skills to you. Hopefully we don't have producer Dylan taking over. Yeah, you like that touch logo? I said that on a show. If the Vikings lose, producer Dylan's he's taking over. Roger Bong, what's going on, Brody? Harvey Buxton. So is the Vikes winning the NFC North. Would you look at that? If they stay healthy. That was hilarious, LMAO. Yeah, I'm kind of being serious. Like, Vikings lose this weekend. You guys aren't seeing me after Sunday. Dylan's going to be self-producing watch parties. He's going to hate his life watching this football team, but it's what's going to need to happen if they lose. I don't make the rules here. Tommy Wood saying, Skull Pat, what's going on, Brody? How you doing? How you doing? Alrighty, we're going to be getting into a mailbag here in just a second. So if you guys got any more questions for me, Dylan's a Jets and Cowboys guy. But if you guys got any more questions for me, hashtag Vikings down below. Get those questions in the comment section. We need a couple more questions here. So if you guys could, Will, Big Obese, Tommy Wood, Jay, make sure you guys get a question in there, super chat, or just use hashtag Vikings down below. Best way to do so. Is Dylan on the IR? No, Dylan's week to week with a hammy right now, but he should be all right for Sunday. We'll see, though. Those hammies are tricky, especially with an early morning start. Who knows? Shout out to Reed Southern. Appreciate you. Jake Torkelson saying, should we get rid of Aaron Jones? I can't really get rid of him right now, but maybe after the season, that's a conversation. Well, Jets, he feel right at home this season. Yeah, Dylan was a Jets fan. So this disastrous season from hell, he is used to it. But also, I know Dylan is probably seeing Vikings fans freak out, and he's probably just saying, grow up, dude. You guys have no idea. I hate that Wentz was staring down his wide receivers. Oh, he was doing that a whole lot this past Sunday. Hawk and Jones are two players I don't see on the 2026 Vikings. Yeah, we'll see. Hawk's definitely turned around the last couple of weeks, but, I mean, if he played like he did the first 2 weeks, like, yeah, absolutely, Hawk will be gone. Yeah, might as well keep Aaron Jones. Nobody's also trading for him. I mean, he's a 30-year-old running back with more injuries than most of the guys in the league, so, yeah, I can't see anybody wanting to take him. That would be sweet to have an Adrian Peterson type of running back, man. That would be pretty cool. Harvey Buxton, good question. Appreciate you. But if you guys want to get more questions in there, Zeke, cool. What's going on? You're watching AP highlights? It's always a good random highlight to pull up. Just Adrian Peterson running over, multiple dudes. Yeah, but this is what we dove into earlier. Zeke, cool. We had the latest injury news. Not looking good for a lot of the guys. I also dove into another preview. But now we're going to have another mailbag. So if you guys got a question, #Vikings. Yeah, and he's loose. He's loose. I think it's PA's best call. Like, just the one he goes to over and over again. The he's loose is fantastic. Ominously weird. What's up, Pat? What's your final score on the Vikings-Browns game? You guys aren't going to like it. It's going to be a slugfest. I got 16-10. That's the best I could do. I wanted to do 13-10. But I think maybe the Vikings will have a late field goal, get it to 16-10. Browns will have a attempt at a game-winning drive. That's actually 100% what it's going to come down to. It's going to be 16-10. Vikings will kick a field goal with about a minute 25 remaining, and we're just going to be sitting there saying, man, we are one drive away from losing to Dylan Gabriel. That's my prediction. 16-10 in favor of the Vikes. But we appreciate you guys getting those questions in there. We're going to dive into a mailbag here shortly. But again, last call, #Vikings, or if you guys want to super chat, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. But yeah, mailbag coming up. #Vikings, get up on the show or super chat. But appreciate you. Drew Jasper's getting a question in there. Z Cool, appreciate you. Big O Beast, appreciate you. But let's do it. Let's dive into a Minnesota Vikings mailbag before Week 5 against the Cleveland Browns. What's going on, everybody? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it's a good old-fashioned Minnesota Vikings mailbag where I answer your questions around our favorite football team. It's my favorite segment I do here every week. It's just me and you chopping it up about some good old Vikings football. But speaking about some Vikings football, big-time game this Sunday. Vikes got a chance to get back over 500 in a must-win game. I hate when people just throw the term must-win around too loosely, but for the Vikings, this is it. This is a must-win game. You lose this, you pretty much kiss your playoff hopes goodbye, which I hate having that much pressure on a Week 5 game when you are 2-2, but that's just reality of the situation. So if you guys want the Vikings to move to 3-2, hit that thumbs up icon like today's show. Unfortunately, Board coming in here saying, do you think the Vikings will get blown out, or do you think the Browns will get blown out by the Vikings? If so, what would be the score between the two teams? So, unfortunately, Board, I think it is very unlikely you get a blowout in either direction this weekend. But if it is going to be a blowout, it will probably be in favor of the Minnesota Vikings. But what could the score be in a blowout? I think the Vikings are going to have to, shut them out or max give up 3 points. I can't see the offense scoring 30 points by themselves this weekend. I would consider blowout maybe 3 scores. So I think the score would have to be maybe 20-3. I would chalk that up as a blowout. 23-3, 24-3. Maybe if you want to get up to 31-3, you're going to have to mix in another Isaiah Rodgers touchdown. But I don't see a blowout this weekend. My score prediction is actually 16-10. I'm calling this right now. Vikes will be up 16-10. There'll be a minute 20 left, and Dylan Gabriel will have a chance to go put the ball in the end zone, and then hopefully Flores at his defense, forces an interception or something. But I got 16-10 for Week 5. As we did have Z Cool coming in with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Z Cool. Saying, given the start to this season, what does Kwesi and KOC do differently this next offseason to strengthen the team? Fantastic question, Z Cool. So I won't really answer this directly for this reason. I don't think we have any evaluation on what the 2025 Minnesota Vikings are as it stands right now, heading into Week 5. Because, with the amount of injuries this team has had, with, you're having 2 games across the pond, you opened up prime time, then you were Week 2, Sunday night. Like, a lot was working against the Vikings this year, and they obviously haven't been healthy. Like, we haven't seen the 5 offensive linemen that we brought in play a single snap together this season. So it's tough to get evaluation on this team, but what would they do differently? Like, just off right now, maybe don't bring in guys with lengthy injury history. Like, that would probably be what I would say, but Hargrave and Allen, they've been pretty terrible to start this year, especially against the run. But I still think the process with the Vikings was correct. Like, you had a rookie quarterback on that rookie deal. You won 14 games with a probably a B+ level roster. They tried to make it an A-. And I still think when they are fully healthy, when this team is clicking on all cylinders, they can be that good of a roster. We just haven't seen it so far. So I don't really have a good answer for you, Z. Obviously, I appreciate you sending it in, but I don't really know if they would do anything differently. Like, I think it's going to be more of the same. The one thing I will say that they are going to attack differently, I think Kwesi getting multiple picks in 2026. We're up to 11 right now. I think you're going to try to start shifting to building through the draft because they're not going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency. So it's going to be a polar opposite of last offseason where, like, oh, free agency is going to be awesome. The draft is going to stink. Probably going to be the opposite this year where the draft is going to be really cool, but free agency might not be a lot of moves. But Z, cool, great question. Appreciate you. Noah Carl saying, when is J.J. McCarthy going to come back and start? I saw a stat where J.J. McCarthy has the second longest snap to release time in the NFL. The line is terrible, but this might be contributing to it. Yeah, I saw that as well. Obviously not a good stat to have, but also I think there's multiple reasons why this is the case. Number one, J.J. McCarthy's a young quarterback. Like, he's making his first 2 starts in the NFL. You're going to naturally think that you just have more time than you actually do. And also the second part of it is just the Vikings having these long developing routes. Like, we talked about KOC, how frustrated we were with him during the first 2 weeks. He didn't really give J.J. McCarthy any easy answers. Like, J.J.'s ADOT, by the way, average depth of target, is one of the highest in the NFL. So clearly he was pushing the ball down the field, but also with him having a long snap to release time, I think that's just with how the Vikings run their offense. So I think it's a little bit of everything. Like, obviously J.J. McCarthy holding on to the ball too long plays a factor into that, but I think it's just with him being young and the offensive system just plays into that a little more than I think we initially thought as fans. But Big Obese saying, do you think the offensive line could be one of the best in the NFL? Like, on paper, it had the chance to be. Like, Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw, like, those guys are locks. I'm very confident O'Neill will be able to come back from that sprained MCL. But I guess the question marks become now is, like, Ryan Kelly, are we going to get anything out of him for the rest of the season? Like, can he stay healthy? Can he not get another concussion for the rest of the year? Will Fries, we thought he was going to be a lot better than what he has been. He has not lived up to that 5-year, $88 million deal. And Donovan Jackson, he's looked very good so far, but he's got a wrist injury. So I think the potential for this offensive line, even if they're fully healthy, is no longer top 3, top 5 in the NFL. But I still think when they're all ready to go, they could be top 10. But again, it's also concerning. You get the worst offensive line potentially in the league right now. Are you just going to, and maybe it's just as simple as that. You get 3 starters back, you're back to being that. But I don't know about best in the NFL, but it can still be top 10. Bram Olsen saying, how long do we have Justin Jefferson? Other notable stars we invest in, J.J. McCarthy 2 to 3 years. Will current stars be gone? Well, we got Jefferson until 2028 at least. You still got Christian Darrisaw on the same timeline as well, and that's also when McCarthy's rookie contract wraps up. But like, any younger will current stars be gone? Like, maybe like a Van Ginkel won't be here in 2 to 3 years. Maybe a guy like Cashman won't be here. Maybe even like a Jonathan Gennard if he's somehow getting more money from another team. I don't know, but yeah, that's also why I think Kwesi is stockpiled draft picks in 2026 because he understands I'm not going to be able to go poach these stars now in free agency. We're going to have to draft and develop them. That's why he's got 11 picks in 2026. The stars in this team in 2 to 3 years are probably guys you're going to draft, maybe even this past draft class, like a Donovan Jackson. Maybe Ty Felton works out, but I think the Vikings are going to slowly start shifting to trying to build through the draft, which they haven't done under the Cam era. Reed Southern saying, do you think is going to come back after the bye, or who do you think is going to come back after the bye week? After the bye week, you should be getting back. I'm going to say probably not on Brian O'Neill. I'm going to play it cautious with there, especially with how the injury's been going. I should probably, be a little more pessimistic about these guys coming back. But I'm assuming you'll get Van Ginkel back. But again, that neck injury is scary. Probably not on Aaron Jones. Probably getting Donovan Jackson back. You're probably getting, hopefully, Ryan Kelly back. But Cashman, for sure. I think Cashman will 100% be back in the fold. But, yeah, probably say Cashman, hopefully Van Ginkel, hopefully Donovan Jackson. I don't know. I don't want to say anything, and then it's like week 7 rolls around. It's like, all right, we got the same injuries that we had during week 5. So probably the only one I think is guaranteed is probably Blake Cashman. But appreciate you, Reed Southern. But let me ask you guys this. Speaking about the NFC North, can the Vikings still win the NFC North? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Can the Vikings still win the NFC North? Are you giving up? Are you still buying into this team? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now we'll get to more of your guys' questions here in a second, but today's episode is brought to you guys by Prize Picks. Now, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Now, if you guys download the app today, plug in promo code CONS. We'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, Prize Picks, they have a new feature called Stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So, for example, if you want Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. And you can also follow their players on Prize Picks directly on the app and copy their lineups in just one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit that follow button. Check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in promo code CONS. Get $50 in lineups. After you play your first $5 lineup, that's code CONS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, next question coming in here from Elder's Channel. Yeah, saying, how do you think the Vikings will do during that 4 after the Browns with the Eagles, Lions, Ravens, and Chargers, along with the Packers a bit after that? It's going to, come down to health. Like, if this team is banged up as they are right now, even if J.J. McCarthy's back, you're probably going to lose those games. Like, the Eagles are an interesting team. Eagles right now can't run the football. They can't pass the football. Their offense actually leads the NFL in 3-and-out rate. They're still winning football games. I think Sirianni, I was so wrong about him. I thought he was just kind of a bonehead head coach. But he's got that team playing very well, at least on the margins, which I think is a coaching stat. But, I mean, man, you go Eagles, Lions, Ravens, Chargers. Like, if the Ravens are fully healthy, they have their guys back, those are probably 4 of the 6 best teams in the league. Like, that's a gauntlet for the Vikings to go through. But I think record, like, if you could go 2-2, that would be fantastic. You beat the Browns this weekend, you move to 3-2, then you somehow go 2-2, and then you're 5-4. Like, I'll take that with where the Vikings are at. So I'll go 2-2 there. Hopefully, you beat the Eagles at home. Chargers short week might be tough. Then pray that Lamar's hammy is still shaking up for that game. But yeah, I'll go 2-2. Very optimistic though. 2-2 prediction. Roger Bong, is it time to change our O-line coach? 100%. Chris Cupper needs to go. I was gonna probably give him this week to see if he can change it around, but yeah, like, and I think the biggest reason and the kind of best evidence I could give you guys on why I should go is literally just Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram is the highest graded guard according to PFF right now in the league by a wide margin. And Chris Cupper couldn't get him figured out whatsoever. Ed Ingram looked terrible with the Minnesota Vikings. He looked like a for sure bust. It's been a second-round pick. It was going to be a waste. Yeah, he's got to go. Like, what offensive lineman has he developed? Like, I'm scared for Donovan Jackson. You got to get a new guy in there, so I think it's time to make a change. I will see this week. Maybe they ride it out for a couple more weeks, but also firing an offensive line coach midseason is not good. Like, you want to keep that continuity. You want to keep that chemistry between the coach and the lineman, but if he's just not getting it done, maybe it is time to, move on there. But John Furr coming in with the next one. What's going on, man? Saying our injury is starting to be an issue with J.J. McCarthy. I mean, maybe not like a full-blown issue, but it's definitely a talking point. I mean, the guy tore his meniscus last year, missed the whole season. Now he's dealing with a high ankle sprain. Those are two pretty big-time injuries. And also, JJ, he's got a more slim, slender build. Doesn't have a ton of, weight on him. Like, that's why I love, like, guys like, Dak Prescott, for example, put a bunch of weight on. Like, he's just a thick dude. So, even though he's had injuries, but I just think it's, better protection. But, yeah, are they starting to be an issue? I think 110%, man. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't worried about these injuries. This guy missed his whole freshman year or whole rookie year. Then his second year, he's already out with a high ankle sprain, and it's going to be week 7, and we got to get this guy ready to go. So are they starting to be an issue? I think they already were an issue. So hopefully, JJ, give us some good injury luck. Please, please, please. Harvey Buxton, what players will retire after this season? Harvey, 100%. Harrison Smith. I think this is Harry's last year. He's he's barely playing either. Like, I think he's gotten like 16, 17 snaps a game. So I already think they're, heading in another direction at that safety spot. But any other guys, like maybe Aaron Jones, doubt that. Maybe like either Hargrave or Allen, but I doubt that. They both signed multiple year deals. Probably about it. Maybe Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly's probably going to be done after this season. But yeah, Ryan Kelly or Harrison Smith, probably the only two there. Yeah, maybe CJ Ham as well. Marcos Man saying, what is your favorite Super Mario character of all time? Fantastic question. It's running through my head right now. I got to look at a list here. Favorite Super Mario of all time? This is a great question. I'm just pulling them up so I can see them all. So I was a big Diddy Kong guy for some reason. I feel like Diddy Kong was good. I mean, it's got to be Yoshi. I feel like I'm a Yoshi guy. I think I played with Yoshi probably the most. So Yoshi, Birdo was always sick. I was never a big Waluigi guy. Baby Yoshi, Donkey Kong. Yeah, I'd probably go Yoshi, though. Shout out to my guy Yoshi. But if you guys made it to the end of today's mailbag, just hit me with the skull down below in the comment section. We appreciate all of you guys for tuning in for this entire thing. Hopefully the Vikes are going to win this Sunday. We'll be live for the game, so tune in then. See you guys next time. Skull Vikes. I seem like a Yoshi guy? What does that mean? What does that mean, Lego fella? You seem like a Yoshi guy. What is a Yoshi guy to you, Lego? That's a great question. Yeah, definitely Yoshi. I think Yoshi's, he's got some personality to him. He's a dog. Like, I like Yoshi a lot. Oh, Z Cool. That's fucked up, dude. That's so messed up, Z Cool. Coming at me. Blair Walsh. We might have to get out here. I'm getting cyberbullied by Z Cool right now. This is not good. I thought me and Z Cool were guys. Alrighty. Listen. Yeah, LMAO, Z Cool. Z Cool, I better see you Sunday. Yeah, 100% do. It's either Gary Anderson or Blair Walsh for you. Harvey Buxton. Pat, I said this at the preseason, that recruiting players with injuries is a bad way to go. I know, Harvey. You were right. You were right. I took the optimistic view of guys with an injury history. You took the pessimistic view, and you were right. Dude's getting mauled by Z Cool. Yeah, Z Cool's just coming at my neck, man. Alrighty. We appreciate all of you guys, though. We're going to get on out of here. Enjoy the sports tonight. Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Padres. If you guys are a fan of me, hopefully you're rooting for the Cubbies tonight. But we're going to get on out of here. Big O Beast, Reed Southern, Lego Fella. Love all you guys. And we'll see you Sunday, 7:30 in the morning. Waking up early again. So that's going to be sweet. See you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes.